Hey guys, John here from Bring the SEO. Today I want to take a moment to talk about ChatGPT for SEO. There's been a lot of talk in the SEO industry, especially around ChatGPT and AI. This is an extremely hot topic right now, and I'm sure for those of you who are both using ChatGPT as a tool, as well as those of us who are providing SEO services to clients who are a little bit concerned about the direction in which AI is going. This video, I'm sure, will be of interest. I wanted to take the time to talk about this topic today because this is something, as I said, it's an extremely hot topic right now. A lot of people, it's a mixture between concern, excitement. I'm seeing all sorts of discussions in the space. My view on this might be a little bit different to the norm. I've just browsed through out of interest. I just browsed through a whole bunch of videos here on YouTube, searched for ChatGPT for SEO, and almost all of the videos that I'm seeing are quite similar, virtually the same. ChatGPT for SEO. This is how you can create 5 million blog posts in the next 15 minutes. Just use these magic prompts. This is all about, this kind of thing. Look, this is nothing new to me. I've been doing SEO for over 20 years now, and I've seen this type of behavior time and time again. And almost always it ends badly with, it ends in tears with people crying in their cornflakes. I said months ago that, and I remember having a conversation with someone in the group. I said to someone months ago, one of the members, I said, this could turn out to be one of the biggest bright, shiny objects ever in the SEO space. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for technology. I think AI is incredible. What it can do is just amazing. And I have to say for myself personally, I use it quite often, not always for SEO related tasks, but certainly for, creating formulas in Google Sheets and so forth. Which is an interesting, that in itself has been an interesting observation, because I remember when this thing first came out, everyone was like, SEO is dead. That's another conversation that's been going on since the late 90s. And I didn't really see it that way. I thought, okay, this is really interesting. I don't see how this could bring about the end of SEO. It will certainly have some sort of impact. What that impact will be and how that pans out, who knows? But I never saw it as being one or the other. And it's been really interesting to see how things are evolving, because a lot of SEOs now are using AI as a tool to improve their SEO. In fact, look, I had someone ask me, someone in the group recently said, John, what was the question? John, do you think that, do you think as us as SEO consultants will be out of work because of AI? And I said, no, I don't think so. I said, so long as people are searching for information, there will always be a job or a place for us in the space. And that might change, right? I don't think tools like ChatGPT and AI are going to be a threat to Google and SEO until you start seeing regular people, uncles, aunties, sisters, grandparents, even young kids, teenagers, start using ChatGPT or tools similar to ChatGPT rather than Google. I've been asking around direct family members and friends, hey man, do you use ChatGPT or are you still using Google? They're like, oh yeah, I use Google. I don't really understand ChatGPT. And that behavior might change, right? I think and I was thinking about this the other day, if ChatGPT modified their interface so that it looked almost identical to Google's homepage, Google would be in a lot of trouble. Because at the moment, and I asked my partner this just recently, she said, I've got to set up an account and I don't know, I just don't I don't have time for that. I just want to search and find what I'm looking for. So that was and I've had a similar response from other family members and friends as well. So I think that behavior might change. But anyway, getting back on topic here. ChatGPT for SEO. I'm going to reference a couple of thoughts here that I scribbled down that I want to share with everyone. My first point is this. There's a lot of hype around ChatGPT at the moment. And how this turns out is anyone's guess, right? There's a big question mark in this space. A lot of people are making various predictions. I think a lot of people are just chasing bright, shiny objects, and I could see this turning out badly for a lot of people. I'll get to that point in a second. So the known unknowns, the biggest one, of course, what's the greatest unknown? We don't know how this is going to turn out. That's the first thing. So what are the known knowns? What do we know? I'm going to read you what I've scribbled down here. Human behavior often stays the same. We know how we can look. You can look back at previous behavior, especially in the SEO space, around various tools that a lot of SEO consultants and agency owners have used in order to increase the efficiency in their processes and fast track the outcome. I mean, SEO is a tough gig, right? I watched a video just a minute ago about, I won't give his name, but I watched someone recently saying this is how long it would take if you were to hire a team of writers and write 600, articles. But if you use ChatGPT, you can have the job done in like 15 minutes. That's a problem. And that's my point here. Human behavior is often predictable based upon, historical behavior or patterns that we've seen. And I say that because, like I said, I've been doing SEO for over 20 years now, and I've seen these cycles happen. Something comes up, some new bright, shiny object, and everyone in the SEO community loses their fucking mind, and they run around with their hair on fire going, oh my God, this is amazing, and everybody swarms on it. It's like ants on candy. And then they abuse the shit out of it. And this is when Google steps in and said, okay, that's enough. And there's some sort of huge update. And that's where everything ends badly. Now, again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downing here. I think tools like ChatGPT are great. But at the same time, I can see this turning out badly based upon the behavior I've seen within the SEO industry in years gone by. We already know that people are going to be abusing this tool to gain an advantage, and that is a problem. Now, my next point here is this. Google says, and I've looked on their website, Google says when it comes to using AI to create or generate content, this is what they say. The wording here on this page, I'll share the link in the description below. You should have a read of this. The wording on this is really interesting. Should I use AI to generate content? If you see AI as an essential way to help you produce content that is helpful and original, it might be useful to consider. See the words that they've used there? They've said consider. They haven't said yes. They said consider. They also make a point of saying, help you produce content that is helpful and original, right? Original, helpful and original. Now, we all know there's been this helpful content update recently, and I'm already seeing conversations taking place in various SEO communities, mainly on Facebook, with, again, SEO consultants running around with their hair on fire saying, holy shit, we've lost all of our rankings, and our site's tanked, and we were number one everywhere, and we've lost everything, and what do we do? How do we recover? I'm already seeing this. It's funny, like I saw a conversation this morning. Someone was saying, all of our articles tanked. We've been using ChatGPT to write articles. All of them tanked. And we went back because we've been trying to figure out how to recover from this obvious penalty. And they said we went back and we did a test and we actually rewrote a number of these articles and we made them more useful. I can't remember their exact wording, but it was something like this. We rewrote the content, we made it more helpful, we made it, and we focused on providing high value to the reader. And then they went on to say, our articles bounced back to, page 1. And I thought, well, isn't that what you should have done in the first place? Now, again, I'm not being the white hat police here. I'm not saying that everyone should stop using it. But there's all I'm saying is this. The direction that a lot of SEO consultants are going in here when it comes to ChatGPT is worrying. And again, I can see this ending badly for a lot of people. The next thing that I'll just touch on real quick here is the next follow-up sentence to that I just covered. I'm just reading from Google Search Central, Google's quality guidelines here. If you see AI as an inexpensive, easy way to gain search engine rankings, then no. And that's the second part of the question, which was, should I use AI to generate content? So if you see AI as an inexpensive, easy way to gain search engine rankings, then no. Well, that says everything, doesn't it? And this is exactly what a lot of SEO consultants are doing now. And people are actually boasting about it, which, this brings me to my next point here. Google engineers are not idiots, right? They've got some of the smartest people on the planet, and every time they're met with a challenge, and look, I'm not saying that they're perfect by any means. They fucked a lot of things up over the years and gotten a lot of things wrong. But at some point, we're going to end up finding ourselves in a situation where Google have no alternative but to step in and release some sort of huge update. And I'm going to share some thoughts around that in just a minute. Because if people are just doing lazy SEO, or they're just blasting shitty articles or mass producing content using these tools, thinking that it's all going to be all roses and rainbows, then I think everyone's going to be in for it's not going to end well. Now, a couple of things. What else do I want to touch on here? Here's a couple of things that, here are my thoughts around this. This is what I think. Look, this is how I think it might pan out in the end. I think if Google steps in and looks at this closer, and I don't think this will be too hard for them to do, right? I think the first thing that I wrote down here is content velocity will become a thing. I had a search around the other day and had a look for content velocity to see if, because everyone talks about link building and link velocity. How many links can you build? But and that might have been a fair question to ask. But I couldn't find too much information around content velocity. And I think content velocity will become a thing. It wouldn't be hard for Google to be able to determine as to how many articles one supposed author has published, in 24 hours. Okay, Bob Smith has just uploaded like 600 articles this week. I mean, let's face it, let's be real here. That's unlikely. Unless there's some kind of, maybe they're migrating data from, physical copy to digital copy and they're uploading bulk content. I don't know, but I'd say that the percentages around that would probably be slim. So I think the first thing they'll start looking at is content velocity, and I think that you'll start seeing a lot of, I wouldn't be surprised if, and these are just predictions, right? I could be way off. I could be completely wrong. It'll be interesting again to see how this pans out. But I think content velocity will become a thing. Anyone that's uploading a shitload of content in a short space of time, a lot of that content will either, they'll either end in penalties or that information being de-indexed. And this is the other thing, there's been ongoing discussions for months now around people saying, or SEO consultants, especially again in numerous groups and forums, I've submitted a search crawl request within Google Search Console. It's not working. My pages aren't being indexed. And there's been a lot of talk around, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. And I think the error message is something along the lines of crawled but not indexed, something like that. I don't have the error message right here in front of me. And I said to someone recently in my own community, I said, I think it's more of a case of crawled, not worth indexing. And I've actually looked at some of these sites. I've looked at plenty of these sites where people have said, man, I'm having all of these problems because they're using, tools like ChatGPT to just burn out low quality content. And I've looked at the content and thought, this is absolutely garbage. You deserve to be in this situation. So I think the first thing will be content velocity will become a thing. My second prediction here is that authorship will come back. Authorship was something that Google tried a number of years ago now. I can't remember how long it's been. It's been a number of years, but I remember that was showing author profile photos in the search results. Did they get it wrong? Could they have done things better? Absolutely. It didn't end well, and of course they ended up scrapping it. But I think I would not be surprised if they bring authorship back in some format, and I would welcome that. And I was thinking about this the other day. I thought if I'm interested in, I don't know, let's say I've got a relative and she's thinking about weight loss surgery. What's important to her? Well, she wants to know that if she's reading a piece of content on the internet, it's written by a weight loss surgeon who has, 10, 15 or 20 years worth of experience, who really knows what they're talking about. And it wasn't someone who just pressed the button or entered in some sort of prompt in ChatGPT from Pakistan. I mean, there are certain industries where this is going to, I can just see it now. It's going to end badly, especially financial, legal, medical. Can you imagine? But I think authorship will come back, and I think I would welcome that. There needs to be, and this is a bit of a side note here that I've scribbled on my list. The content, any content that's produced needs to be somehow tied to a real person. This whole EATT thing. Expertise, authoritativeness, trust, and whatever else it stands for. That's I don't know if that means much at the moment. In fact, I watched a video just a moment ago from someone else who's well known in the SEO space saying, who cares if you've got the most knowledgeable person in the world writing about this content? That's a joke. We can just write it in ChatGPT. Well, then, if that's the case, this whole EATT thing doesn't mean much at all, and that's a problem. I think content that is produced needs to be tied somehow to a real author. Now, I wanted to mention that because this brings me to my next point. There needs to be some sort of verification when content is published. And if you think about it, a lot of platforms are doing this right now. If you think about the way in which security works, like logging into, say, Stripe, you get a verification code sent to your phone. Why are we not doing something like that when it comes to publishing content? I think we should be. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that came about. When you're submitting a request, let's say within Google Search Console, okay, you want to submit a piece of content to the web via Google Search Console, submit the URL, verify the verification code. Okay, you're verified. This is you. We know it's you. The code was sent to your phone, and we're willing to crawl and index that piece of content. Will there be loopholes? Will there be people that will figure out how to game the system? Probably. But it would certainly impact or reduce the amount of shit content that's being mass-produced at the moment. Look, I'm just sharing my thoughts here. This video is much longer than I anticipated. But I just see this, I want to wrap this video up by saying this. Like, again, I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just seeing a lot of people running around in circles at the moment, getting overly excited about AI and ChatGPT and how you can, fast track everything, especially around content. I've spoken with SEO consultants who are talking about firing their writers. I mean, I get it. I totally understand. I mean, it's hard, right? What are you going to do? You're going to keep paying 3 staff members or just press a button and, okay, got an article. I don't know. My thoughts on this are, I've seen this behavior before. We've seen these cycles in the SEO space many, many times over the years. People get excited, they find something that works, they abuse the shit out of it, and then Google steps in and says no more, and the whole thing ends in tears, and then, we're back, and, and the cycle just continues. So my advice to everyone is, if you're going to use these tools like ChatGPT for SEO, use some common sense. Use these tools in a way in which enhances real content. If you're going down the path of just lazy, mass-produced, low-cost, garbage content, then I can tell you right now, it's not going to end well. I could be wrong. I could be way off. But it'll be really interesting to see where we are in, say, 2 years' time when it comes to this whole ChatGPT thing and SEO. Anyway, they're my thoughts. There are probably many things that I've missed. This is certainly a big topic that could go on for, we could be sitting here for an hour talking about this, but I'd be really interested in hearing your thoughts below. Post your comments below, and let's see how this all turns out. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more, head over to bringtheseo.com. We provide business development training for SEO consultants wanting to improve their processes, increase profits, and scale to $100,000 a month or more without all the stress and overwhelm.